You know, I struggled a lot in high school. You know, not like educational. Well, I mean, a little bit educational, but just more like socially. And for many different reasons. Obviously, we've gone into the kind of self-esteem, and then obviously the the stutter issue. But I just think even like issues when it came down to like not black enough for the black kids, not white enough for the white kids. Just stuff like that. You know. Plus, in high school, like shit sticks. You know, and it's crazy. How fast things can travel about you that you didn't even know. You know, I wouldn't say I ever got like picked on or bullied. No, I wouldn't say that was ever the case. But it's high school and shit sticks and shit travels around, and I totally understand why people probably looked at me and had their opinion of me and treated me a bit differently, or saw me as an easy target. And like that's fine. Like I totally do get that because there's probably been people that I probably treated in a specific kind of way, you know, before high school or maybe after. So I don't feel too bad about it. Obviously there are things, and it didn't help, you know, with the confidence and stuff. But I always felt like I had a hard time, and it was really weird because I just never felt fully accepted, or I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy how stuff like that can just stick with you for the longest time. And what's even like, and what's even worse is like once we move on from high school, go into college or whatever, and it felt like okay, we are improving, we're getting somewhere, and then boom, COVID hits, and it all goes away, and back to square one, and yeah, yeah. 5 years later, look where we are now. I just remember being in the sixth form, and a lot of them who I was there with, like I've known for a very long time, and I just remember by the end of it, I just wanted out. You know, I really wanted out because I wasn't happy there, and I felt like we all needed to move on, and I'm glad we did. Um, and it's funny because there are times where I miss high school and I miss sixth form, and I do miss them days, But I'd be lying if I told you I wouldn't go back and do things a ton, just in different ways, there's so much that I would do differently, man, that I don't have the chance to anymore because I wasn't brave enough to, you know. I didn't believe in myself, um, and those opportunities are gone, you know. Um, you know, that's why I just tell people make the most of it, make the most of those moments with your friends, with, even if you're in class and it's boring as fuck, you know, make the most of it because once it's gone, it's gone. And there's so much about high school and stuff that I genuinely miss. I miss having a routine, I miss having things to kind of do across my day, you know. Um, I don't have that anymore. You know, I miss having to be in places. You know, I don't have that anymore. Um, I miss the people that I were there with. If I liked them or didn't like them, you know, they were there. You know, over this kind of whole journey. You know, yeah, there's a that is a lot. Um, yeah, it's just crazy because you know, not the most confident guy. I'm still not. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And God, there are so many things that I wish I could do. So many regrets, you know, and so many people that I wish I could just, you know, speak to one more time or whatever, you know. But that's on me, you know. Like that's on me. I should have taken that chance when I had it, and I didn't, and that's on me. So yeah, so just be braver, you know, take that risk. It's meant to be scary, you know, and who cares what people say, you know? At least you did. At least you did it, you know. Um, yeah, don't end up like me, you know. Yeah, it's weird because the more I've done these videos, um, it's like the inverse of what I thought was going to happen. I really thought doing these videos I was going to hate it at first. Um, I really love it. I love it. But the more I've done them, the more I've doubted myself, and the more I've been like, I'm not being genuine. You know, that's not true. You know, I made a list of things I want to talk about weeks ago. Um, you know, when I felt low, and which is too much. But yeah, um, you know, doubting myself. You know, am I being genuine? Who cares? You know, and I know, yeah, you know, yeah, I get it. You know, I'm my own biggest critic. I'm my own worst enemy, and yeah, yeah. Well, we're nearly there. We're nearly there.